What embarrassing reason did your partner almost leave you for? When my last girlfriend and I were together, she used to restrain me from having intimacy for long periods of time. She said that our time in bed was sacred and should only be used for special occasions, like Mother's Day, to preserve the feminine energy in bed. She even believed that it was cheating if I decided to play with my willy, so I never did that either. When her and I did get wicked, I would finish in under a minute and then we'd cry cuddling in bed together. Things went on like this for years, and this was all that intercourse was to me. I'm a stickler for routines, and at the very least she was consistent in her antics, so I stuck around. I found this all very daunting, but I had to let go of her when on our 7th anniversary she tried to trap me. Before we got down to business, she threw out the rubber I had and told me she already opened up one for me. She started to roll it on me, and that's when I threw her off of me. I don't know what she took me for, but it was impossible to not notice the massive hole she cut at the tip. She tried to baby trap me and kept trying to convince me that it was time her, and I took things to the next level. I didn't even say a word to her. I just packed my things and left. Now I'm with my current girlfriend, and she made me realize this kind of baggage couldn't go away. She taught me that it's okay to have casual intimacy and it's okay to have fun. But I couldn't let go of those years of guilt and feelings of sensitivity when it came to being in the sack. So when we got intimate, I was finishing in under 3 minutes consistently. I would blow my load and then the waterworks came. Tears would just fall out of my eyes and I couldn't help it. She would comfort me every single time and told me not to worry about it, but I could tell something was weighing on her. When I asked her what was up, she told me she understood that I came from a very different situation, but she had some needs that needed to be met. In short, she needed me to last a lot longer than 3 minutes if there was ever hope for her to have a big O. I wanted that for her, so for days I tried to figure out how to last longer. I was doing more push-ups to build up more stamina, going for light jogs. I even tried playing with my willy, but none of that worked, and it was embarrassing knowing that my girlfriend noticed. Because after a failed attempt at playing with my willy, my girlfriend told me I should stop trying so hard. She said she was sorry if she made me feel like I had to make her finish, and said she didn't mean to push me to do all this just so she could feel some pleasure in bed. She then told me that if this was too much for me, she'd completely understand if I wanted to take a break. I mustered up everything within me and promised her that the next time her and I did it, it would be completely different. So, the next day I was even more obsessed with trying to figure out how to last longer. I wasn't going to resort to Viagra because it could cause heart problems, or those stupid gas station pills because they're terrible for you. I had no problem admitting to myself that I needed an aid. I just needed something natural that wasn't gonna blow up my heart like A-Train. Eventually I found Round 2 strips and used them because they had ingredients like shilajit and monk fruit. These were all primo ingredients for men to build up their reserves and keep their little guy active. I bought them and I immediately started taking them every day so I'd be ready for my girl. I spent an entire week envisioning me going to town on her and making her my pillow princess. I even got excited knowing that we'd be able to do it in the morning now, because the reload strips left a minty taste in my mouth as soon as I used them, so my girl wouldn't be repulsed by my morning breath anymore. When the time came, I stuck a reload strip in my mouth, and as I waited for my little guy to deploy, my girl and I did a lot of foreplay, more than I'd done before. She touched me in ways that I'd never felt before, and she had me seeing stars. And when little me was ready, I went to town on her for about 12 minutes before I blew my load over her. It felt like my willy was touched by a goddess. I never thought I could go that long. I took another reload strip and let it work its magic again, since it was the only way I'd be able to go another round with her in like 5 minutes. On top of finishing in seconds, I also couldn't get it up after the first time. But now, all I had to do was wait a couple minutes, and as I waited I went down on her, making sure I kept her heart racing and in the mood. I put my tongue to work, and in a way I let her know that I was raised to finish my food. When my other head sprung up I knew I was ready again, and I went down to business. I went down for 7 more minutes, and when I pulled out she screamed, and got her sheets all wet. I thought she'd want to stop after that, but she grabbed my face and told me to keep going. Luckily, little me was still hard and ready for action. This was definitely the longest I ever lasted, but I knew that with the round 2 strips, we'd be in the bedroom for hours. I knew because it was the first time I used the strips in the bedroom, and my girl was already begging for more. So without hesitating I went faster, and even had to grab the headboard for support. She ended up throwing me while her legs shook like crazy. Had she shook any faster she would have phased through the bed like the Flash. Her eyes were wider than a glue sniffer. When she turned to face me she was holding my container of round 2 strips. She asked me what the hell are these? When I told her they were reload strips she told me,
"If I buy you more of these, can you keep doing what you just did?"
I said yeah, of course. Then she told me,
"Thank God you found these with me instead of that baby trapping freak show. My mother-in-law gifts my husband hurtful birthday presents every year, so I hid her present this year. She blasted me on the group chat but I nuked her in return. My husband is not the favorite child of my mother-in-law. She has 3 sons. My husband is the oldest and the only one not from her current husband. She separated from his father while she was pregnant and, shortly after this, met her current husband. After a while, they became parents to my husband's younger brothers. The relationship between my husband and mother-in-law is not bad. She's not evil or trying to hurt him but isn't very affectionate. All 3 moved away for university, and my mother-in-law sent packages of sweets, clothing, or something like this to his younger brothers. My husband never received a package except for his birthday. His brother got a brand new iPhone, 2 expensive pullovers, and 1 parfum for his last birthday. Like the other brother, and I would guess most of the time for their birthday, it's something in this price range. She writes a nice card or a personal letter for them and sometimes bakes something like cookies. My husband is sad every year. It's not about the money, but 2 years ago, he got a €40 gift card for an online shop sent via the online shop. I tried to talk to him about it, but he was so hurt that he didn't want to. I waited a few weeks and tried to speak to him again, but he refused. Last birthday, I gifted him a little vacation and texted my mother-in-law that she could give him a tour of one of the museums he wanted to see. He dreamt of going to this city for years. It would not have been expensive but thoughtful and probably made my husband happy. She said she already had something. It was a candle, he's not very into candles, and a shower gel. This year, a package arrived 2 days before his birthday. It was small, and I could see it came straight from an online shop. We weren't at home, so our neighbor took it. When I came home, my neighbor told me I was lucky to see him because he was away for the weekend, and we would have missed the package. I just knew it would hurt my husband. I asked him if he could keep the package a little longer so my husband would get it after his birthday because it's probably disappointing for my mother-in-law. He laughed and agreed. One day before his birthday, I told him the package from his mom arrived, but our neighbor was out of town. He had a great birthday, full of friends, lovely cake, and gifts, and he didn't think about it one time. Our neighbor gave it to him yesterday and joked that his dad is also bad at picking gifts. My husband got curious and asked about his words, and my neighbor told him everything. He talked to me and said he understood it. His brother told my mother-in-law, who is now furious with me. She texted me, and the group chat with his family lit up. She said I was mean and spoiled and had no right to hide the gift. So am I the a-hole? His brothers never said anything about the different presents. Now his brother said that he found it harsh for me to hide a present. My husband is older, so it's justified not to get expensive or thoughtful gifts. Funny enough, we have been together for nearly 10 years, and he never got a good present even though he was the same age as his brothers. One of his brothers also works, so it's not the job that makes the difference. Update, I wrote in the family group chat. I was just trying to save my husband's birthday because he's been sad for years because of his presents that do not match the energy of his brothers, and it's not about money but thought. I listed everything he got versus everything his brothers got. In return, I got thrown out of the group chat. My husband left the chat after that. My mother-in-law wrote me in private that I'm a toxic person who destroys my husband's relationship with his family, but we chose to ignore that and go LC for a while.